Welcome to the webinar sponsored by the marketing department. Get your marketing in motion. And the whole focus of this webinar is that you need to take some action to get your marketing moving, because it's a basic law of physics that you can't steer something that's not in motion. So taking some motion, getting something in motion is a lot better, even if it's not perfect. Don't wait for things to be perfect. Even if you don't have the perfect plan, start taking action. And then you can begin to refine and to steer, whether you're doing this on the internet, whether you're doing it in a networking group, whether you're doing direct mailing, whatever your marketing strategy is, you're not going to be able to really refine it and see results until you begin to get it in motion. So that's the whole focus of this webinar series. And another aspect of the series is that we are focusing on utilizing low-hanging fruits. So it's a lot easier to get something in motion if you do very simple actions that don't take a lot of education, don't take a lot of training, don't take a lot of money. They're simple things that anyone can do, that you can do right now for your marketing. And when you take these actions, you can use them to leverage funding for future marketing, to bring some initial clients in. And what we have done is the experts, the marketing experts of the marketing department, have each in their own area determined what are some low-hanging fruits, what are some things you can do right now in order to establish some momentum in your marketing and begin to see things happen. So today we have, let's go ahead and move over to Debbie here. Today we have Debbie Kluska, who is Vice President of Best Online Rep. She is our online reputation management expert at the marketing department. And a little bit about Debbie is that she's helped dozens of businesses across the United States grow their online reputation. And she's worked previously in industries where customer service was important, and that involves the expectations customers have when they come to your business. So she schooled herself in wowing her customers, and the same thing happens over with your online marketing. You want to have great reviews, and when you wow those customers, they're going to give you good reviews. So let's go ahead and 90% of customers say that positive online reviews influence their buying decision. And you imagine when you go to Amazon, the first thing I do, at least, if I'm going to watch a movie, if I'm going to buy a product, I'm going to look at the reviews. And people are doing that now for every business. You have Google reviews, you have Facebook reviews. People are going to look at the reviews. And Debbie's company and Debbie's work in the marketing department helps clients to create a positive online review across the internet. People are going to Google you, and they're going to Google your company, and they're going to base their decision whether to pursue engaging with you and potentially buying your products or services on the reviews that they see. So Debbie's company helps her clients to create positive online reviews through testimonials, through videos, through how do you deal with a negative review. She's going to share all these things and show us 5 steps to increase, to improve our reputation online. So Debbie, I am going to turn it over to you now.
Thank you so much, David, and thank you everyone for attending today. So I want to take a moment to start by saying that we all know that social media has given consumers a tremendous voice these days. At any moment, our businesses are subject to online praise or criticism. So it's very critical that we're always aware of what's being said about us online and that we're proactive in being responsive to it. So today we're going to go through the 5-step online review system for business growth. And by following the 5-step online review system you'll learn in this webinar today, you will get an immediate, lasting, competitive edge that hopefully you could use in your everyday work. You could change slides. So how does your market make their buying decisions? So think about your clients for a moment and how did you acquire them? Did you get them from a verbal referral? Did they find you from doing an internet search online? Chances are that even if someone verbally referred them to you, and even if it was someone you know, they're probably going to take a moment and look at you online. They want to see what others are being said about you. There's recent statistics that show that 86% of consumers will do an online search for local businesses before even contacting them. And in the 18 to 34-year-old demographic, that number jumps up to 95%. So think about this for a minute. 86 to 95% of all consumers are looking up local businesses before making buying decisions. So this is very important. Think about your business for a moment and what people are actually seeing about them before they contact you. Do you have positive reviews? Do you have low reviews? Do you have negative reviews? Do you respond to reviews? So these are all things that they're seeing about you possibly before they're even engaging with you. You could change. So here's a graphic that helps demonstrate what consumers are seeing about your company online. Not all companies stack up the same, and on search engines such as Google, it's easy to tell the difference. If you search on Google for, say, an industry-specific topic, so say you're looking for a painter in your area and you do a Google search for painters near me, you'll see the top probably 5 painters come up, and you'll see right under their name, you'll see their review star rating and the number of reviews. So Google is training people to right away know where this company stands. So let's use a painting company I mentioned for an example. So in this graphic here, there's 3 services that are virtually identical. They're painters, they do about the same service. So service A, if you look, they have 4 good reviews and 2 bad reviews. So it's kind of, okay, they do good work, they may do some bad work. It kind of is up in the air. Service company B, so this is painting company B, they have no reviews, thus they have a 0-star rating. And then painting company number C has 6 5-star reviews. They're all positive, they're all 5 stars. So comparing them side by side, it's really easy to see which one you would choose. And I think everyone here would probably select service company number C. So we're going to go over the 5-step online review system for business growth. And it didn't show the other steps. There we go. So there's 5 steps that we're going to go over today, and these are 5 steps for continual business growth for helping you get more online reviews. So I'm going to go over quickly what they are, and we'll go over each topic in a minute. And there's still one that hasn't populated.
Oops. Okay, there we go. Sorry.
So we're going to talk today about continual awareness, rapid response, requesting reviews, leveraging those reviews for marketing, And then automating your online reviews. You could change. So continual awareness. How to monitor your online reputation for free. There you go. So let's read the first bullet. Do you know what business listings are out there for your company? Have you created or claimed your business listings? And do you know how to log on to your business listings? Now, this sounds like a silly question, but lots of companies that I've worked with are not aware of all the business directories they're actually online with. Some of them do not know how to log on to their business listings, and some of them have listings that aren't claimed. So let's talk about this in greater detail for a minute. So why are there business listings out there that are not claimed? Well, part of the reason is that some social media sites such as Google, Facebook, and Yelp will create a business listing for you based on the need for one through search results. So if you haven't created a listing for yourself, however, if people are searching for you, Google will create a basic listing for you. If you've ever searched for a company on Google and you see on the left side not claimed or do you manage this business, chances are the business owner is not being interactive with their Google page. And then there's also tons of directories that a lot of people are not aware that they're on. And these are small, less prominent sites such as Dex Knows, Merchant Circle, City Search, Foursquare. And these are all popular sites that, again, may create a business listing for you that you might not be aware that you're on. And I've actually done some research, and even though these sites are not so prominent, there's still hundreds of thousands of people who actually go to these sites to visit and to compare other companies. So even though they may not be top of mind, they still are being viewed. So if you're not sure where you are online, let me give you a quick tip that's free that you could do today to see. So one suggestion I have is to Google your business and then go through all the business results, the search results. You may have to go through a few pages, but you may see you have a listing on Manta that you were not aware of, or some other obscure site. So go through a few pages of Google and see if your business is listed someplace you don't know. And then if you do find your business somewhere, we have to talk about claiming your business listing. And this is extremely important. Each listing site will give you, a directory site will give you the ability to claim or verify your listing, and this gives you control of your listing and not someone else. So again, very important. If you go to an obscure site such as City Search that you didn't think you were on, but you see there's a listing, go ahead and follow their process. There shouldn't, like I said, be a claim or verify button. Go ahead and do that, follow the process. It's extremely important once you have access to update your listing. Make sure everything is consistent. Make sure your phone number is correct. Make sure your address is correct. Make sure your services are listed. If they give you the opportunity to add photos of your company, do that as well. Make it as robust and representative of your company as possible. I like to say, it's just my rule of thumb, that I create a business listing for Google and then I model every other listing after that so it's consistent. Keep in mind, if you have a suite number, if you wrote out suite on Google, then write it out as suite everywhere else. If you abbreviate it everywhere. You just want it consistent across your directories. And then I run into people who have not been able to log on to their Google profile in a long time. So that's very important to make sure that you are able to log in. So reset your password if you need to. Could you go back to the previous slide? I'm sorry. Yeah, I wanted to talk a little bit more about online review sites such as Google, Yelp, and even Facebook, how you could set to receive email alerts. This is something that everyone's aware of, but being aware of being said about you takes some time. And you don't want to log into Google daily or Yelp to see if someone's left some information about you. So all these sites have the ability to create an alert. So if someone is interacting with your page, you get notified. So make sure you have a correct email address, one that you monitor and check regularly so that you can interact with your people on a quick and fast pace, because that's what they're looking for. Okay, now you can switch. So rapid response. The way you respond to your online reviews affects your customer service reputation. So now we've all looked at Google to read a business review, and what happens subconsciously when you're reading reviews for a business? if they're all consumer reviews and you're going through and reading what people have had to say about a business, you're subconsciously forming your own opinion about how you feel about them. And if all you're reading is a consumer review over and over again, say they have 20 reviews, all you're reading is what consumers had to say, initially, that's kind of what you were seeking. You want to read what your peers or other people using these services are saying. So you do get an idea. But what happens when you're reading business reviews for a company that's very proactive with their responses? It kind of changes your perception and kind of lets you start to learn about the business's customer service personality. You know, those same 20 reviews, if those are responded to, you start to feel what it's like to work with this company if you don't know them. Did they get defensive if someone criticized them? Were they downright mean and nasty? Did they apologize and try to make the situation better? So these are things that you may be missing out on if you do not respond to your online reviews. People may not know what they're getting into, and sometimes it actually encourages them to call you when they read your comments. So responding to online reviews gives you another chance to interact with your clients and customers, and that's very important because if they said something to you, they're reaching out or commenting, why miss an opportunity to interact with your clients? Any kind of additional interaction you have after a sale is just reinforcing your relationship with them and making it more positive, and in my opinion, making them more likely to contact you again. So just responding, I think, goes a long way. That kind of ties into saying thank you if someone took the time to leave your business a review. It's kind of a common courtesy. If someone took the time to leave your business a review and said thank you and they rave about your services, how nice is it if they took a minute to say thank you back? I've left reviews for businesses, and personally, when they've taken the time to respond to me, it makes me feel so much better that I took time out of my day to sit and review them. And just makes me want to work with them a little more. So little things like that, saying thank you just really goes a long way. And then we have answering a negative reviews. Now, this is really tricky and can take a lot of courage. There's lots of things you need to keep in mind, which is never arguing. If you can simply make it right, then do it. If you know who the person is, maybe contact them offline and see if you could fix the situation. If you can, chances are the reviewer will update their online review to reflect a more pleasant experience. So I want to talk about this a little bit more because negative reviews happen, and personally, I've read online reviews that have just blown me away. Reading certain things that business owners write. I don't understand how any further customers or future customers would read these reviews and then go in and try to service their business. We've all read news articles where businesses are in lawsuits with consumers regarding things that have said. And then we've all just read nasty comments that have also made national news. So we definitely don't want to be one of those businesses that detract people by writing negative comments. It's hard to sometimes take a minute and not feel defensive. We all want to defend ourselves. We want to defend our employees. But what kind of message does that send to potential customers who are reading your reviews? I think that they feel like if they had a problem, they would be afraid to almost bring it to your attention because they may get a backlash. So it's really important to try to respond diplomatically, try to refer them to take it offline and contact you directly to talk about it a little more. And let's say you are responding and the person's review your service didn't meet their expectations. Let's try to say something that makes them feel better when we talk to them online, and then if we're confident that we resolve the situation and they're happy, be proactive and ask them if they could go back and update that Yelp review or Google review. You see that all the time. A few weeks later, someone may go on and change their star rating, from a 1 or a 2 to a 4 or a 5. So this greatly reflects the business is willing to work with someone. So it is pretty positive. So take the time and take a minute, breathe, and respond in a diplomatic way. Okay, you could switch. So step 3, requesting reviews. How to ask for online reviews and increase your chance of getting a yes. So that's a yes, I will leave you an online review. So first of all, how does your business ask for reviews, and do you even have a process in place? So that's something to consider. And if you don't, try to start simply asking for reviews. And is asking enough? It's probably not, but it's better than not asking at all. Some people will say yes and actually go on and leave you a review, but let's be honest, people are busy and they go about the course of the day, and by the time they get to a computer, they may simply have honestly forgot to leave you a review, excuse me. So then your chance is missed if you don't have a follow-up plan in place. So asking is great, but having some kind of follow-up plan is also a little bit better. Provide ways for people to leave you reviews that are easy, such as links on your email footer or links on your website. And just about all businesses these days have links on their website to their social media sites. You would be surprised how many links do not actually work or have changed pages. Something I kind of do all the time just out of curiosity. I mean, most of the time it works, but there's lots of times you hit a link that's been broken. So make sure you check these things so people can definitely get to your site. And then another option is putting a link on your email footer. I have something you can click that takes you to leave reviews. So that's another option. And then you could also automate your process with an email or text message campaign. You can switch to the next. So leveraging your reviews for marketing. How to turn your online reviews into a beautiful marketing piece. So we have existing online reviews. We're being proactive to get more online reviews. And what else can we do with them besides just letting them sit there on Google, Yelp, and other directories? Why not use them in print material, such as a brochure or maybe some kind of mailing you're using? If you have a great review that highlights something you're advertising, why not put that on there and share it and get a little more exposure? You could also showcase your reviews on your website. I think most consumers actually these days expect to see a review tab on your website or see some kind of reviews on there. So if you don't have reviews on your website, it's probably something you may want to consider. And then share social media for greater exposure. So this is kind of interesting. You have a review, say, on Facebook. That's just on Facebook. Come up with a creative way to make an image of it or do something with it where you could go ahead then and maybe tweet it out on Twitter, make an image of it and share it on Instagram. You know, just kind of market, hey, this is what my client's saying about me. And you could share it in other ways. You could also use this in videos about your services if you have the ability to add your reviews to that. That's always powerful to have something in writing. So those are some additional ways. Automate your online review system. So how to automate your entire review system. So there are many ways you can maybe do this. There are free tools out there that you could use to help automate your process. Some of these will have a free version that may be suitable for some small businesses. So that's certainly an option. You also may want to check with some of the software that you already may be working with. I know some merchant services have built-in tools for a review request. Some invoicing systems have a tool involved for a review request. Just keep in mind that, you know, not everyone responds to the first review. I'm sorry, for the first email they get. It may be missed, it may be skipped over, it may mean to go back to it. So some of the tools that I ran into, especially with invoicing software, will send maybe one email out. So tracking this and kind of knowing what went on will be a little bit of a manual process, but you know, check it out. This is something that's free that you can maybe start doing automatically. There's also a little more you could do. Another example is if you're trying to seek out more Google requests, there's a free tool you could use called Zapier. And Zapier connects to a Gmail account, and what you could do is you could create an email at that point, You create a form in Zapier, and you attach, the Google request form, and then you would enter your contacts into Zapier and send out an email campaign. You will have to create spreadsheets for tracking, because if there's a response, it gets put into a tracking document. But again, there's tracking, and then you need to worry about what happens then if people didn't respond to your email. So why is free not necessarily free? Well, the obvious answer is that some of these processes take time, and creating an email campaign may not seem so hard, but what happens when someone doesn't answer your first email? You need to do follow-ups. You need to track it. We typically will send up to 3 emails, maybe over the course of 2 weeks, just trying to get them at the right time, maybe over the course of 10 days. So tracking and timing is very important. And then you also have to consider that not everyone will respond to emails. So then what happens if they don't? There's other things you could do, such as text message campaigns, to go ahead and try to reach that other audience who may not be so apt to answer an email. So you could do some of these things for free, but just remember it's a little bit labor intensive, and there's a lot of tracking involved in trying different things. So just keep that in mind. Okay, so by following some of the tips that I have just spoken about and following you could reap the benefits to the 5-step online review system. So by following some of these steps, you will continuously improve your customer service process and reputation. You will be on your way, or you will be able to achieve a 5-star online reputation. You will gain new content that you could use for marketing. You will attain a higher visibility on search engines, and you will receive more new requests for your products and services. So that's pretty much all I have, but I did want to go through some statistics that I have because I love statistics, and they help to reinforce some of the items I've talked about today. So this is really one of my favorite statistics, and these are all taken from this year, so everything's up to date. Review ratings are the biggest driver of clicks in local search engine results pages. So I find it's extremely fascinating that on search engine results pages, the biggest thing that people are clicking on is actually review ratings. So this is significantly emphasizing the importance of your online reviews and that you have them. This is what people are looking for, and this is the biggest driver of clicks. So I love this one statistic rather. The next one is consumers read an average of 10 online reviews before feeling able to trust a local business. That's very interesting as well. And this is why it's important to be asking for online reviews. If you're a smaller business and you're not very proactive with seeking online reviews, this is one of the reasons why you want to go out and get some. You definitely want to be able to compete with others in your industry, and you want to showcase what people are saying about you. If you have 1 or 2 things that people have said, it's great, but they may not get a comfortable enough feeling to choose your company. So start asking for online reviews today and try to get as many as possible. The next one is business rankings in Google's local positions 1 to 3 have an average of 47 reviews, while businesses in positions 7 through 10 have 38 reviews. So you really have to have a significant amount of reviews in order for you to show up in businesses' top 3 positions. 47 doesn't really sound like too much, but if you're not being proactive in trying to get them, it may be a little bit of a challenge. So you want to show up on the top of businesses' local positions, request reviews. And then we have our 70% of consumers that are asked to leave a review go on to write one. That's pretty high in my opinion, but I know if someone personally asks me to leave a review, um, mine is probably about 95%. Unless something really significant happens and I forget, if I verbally commit to someone, I will go ahead and write that review. That's just my personality. But again, this reinforces asking. What we do actually with our clients is we are going to be sending out emails. So instead of them necessarily asking for a review, we make them aware. We have our clients tell their customers at the completion of service, hey, we loved working with you so much. We're going to be sending you an email in the next couple of days or a text message asking how we did. We'd love if you could take a moment to leave us some feedback. So if you are doing a campaign, maybe don't ask them to leave it right then, but maybe preempt the conversation with letting them know that they will be getting something so they are aware. And again, if they commit to you verbally at that point that they will be leaving you a review, chances are they're much greater that they will. And then we have 89% of consumers read businesses' responses to reviews. So we spoke earlier about the importance of a business responding to their online reviews. So 89% of consumers read the responses. So this is a way for you to definitely show your customer service personality. Respond, say thank you, be as polite as possible. And mention the services that they did maybe in your review. So people are seeing what you're doing. If you're an auto dealer and you know that John Smith just left a review and he had some body work done, maybe respond, hey, it was great doing that body work for you. I'm so glad your car looks brand new. It makes the reviewer sound great that they were remembered, and it highlights the fact that you're doing body work. I guess if you're an auto repair shop, that kind of goes unsaid, but some other more obscure businesses, it may be proactive to kind of write what you did for them, if you remember. And then last statistic is every 1-star increase in a Yelp rating leads to a 5 to 9% increase in revenue. Now, I left this one on here, but it's funny because every one of my clients I work with is extremely frustrated with Yelp, and I'm sure if you have a listing on Yelp, you probably are as well. Yelp has its own algorithm where it does not recommend certain reviews. They're hidden on the bottom. You have to click on it. They're in gray. So Yelp, with their algorithm, which it's not extremely even clear what their algorithm is, will hide these. So it's important to really get a lot of reviews on Yelp to keep your star rating up. I have clients who have amazing customer service and have only asked for reviews from legitimate customers. And I had one that I believe they had 72 reviews that were visible, and then I think they had 66 that were hidden. So almost half of the reviews that they tried so hard to gain were hidden. It's extremely frustrating to them, but you have to go ahead and play along with Yelp and just keep asking for reviews, because it's extremely important that it does give you, people are still looking there, and it does increase your revenue. So pay attention to what Yelp, still pay attention to Yelp and ask for reviews there, even though it is frustrating. So that is all I have for today. Again, I hope you picked up a few tips that you could use today, and you can start using right away. If you have any questions, I'm always available for some discussion. I could maybe give you some additional free pointers. So thank you so much.
Okay, thank you so much, Debbie. And what I want to do is pull up this summary of your presentation so that that may spur some of our questions. So here's your 5-step online review process. And thank you for putting this into 5 easy steps. And so what would you suggest if we could just do one thing? What would be a great place to start?
My first step would definitely be to go online and see what directories you're on. Be aware first. Like I said earlier, there was, I forget exactly what site it was that one of my clients weren't aware of, but they had reviews on there
Mhm.
that they weren't aware of. So not being aware of what people are saying about you online is definitely detrimental for your business. So if you're not sure, do a Google search. Um, I could send a list out to people of the obscure sites, but we pretty much know um, what they are. But go through and see. I mean, if on Dex Knows or City Search, you may not be aware. I believe even Better Business Bureau, you have to claim your listing. So, these are all good places to check. And by doing a Google search, you could find out most of these, but, you may want to also search directly on a site just to double check.
I think that awareness doesn't come natural for businesses, because when a business comes to marketing department, the first thing I do is I go and check their reviews. I just check where they are online, how everything looks, and very often when I'll find a few things and I'll bring it to the business's attention, they have no idea that they've got a negative review. They've got no idea that there are links that are not working on their website, or that their social media links, as you mentioned earlier, do not work. And anything that's not working is going to reflect on your business. Definitely, if you're in, let's say you're in health and wellness, and your people are entrusting their health to you, and you've got links that don't work on your website, how is that going to make people feel? Or if you're a financial advisor and there are links that don't work on your website, or there are negative reviews and you're not aware of those reviews, or you haven't responded to the reviews, how is that going to help people trust that you're going to look at the details of their finances and you're going to respond to their needs? A lot of businesses are need to build very high trust to get clients, and trust is so important. If you're selling flowers, maybe not so much, but if you're a financial advisor in the health and wellness industry, you're in the mortgage industry, you're a realtor, people buy who you are and they connect with you personally, and and that creation of trust is just vital. So yeah, Debbie is showing, thank you for showing us a way to build that trust, grow that trust over the internet, Debbie.
I mean, the other thing I just want to stress, the second thing that is extremely important if you could take action today is, if you have unresponded to reviews, definitely go back and try to make a situation better. I don't
Mhm.
always recommend, if the review was a year old, to go back and try to, wake a sleeping bear, so to speak. But if you had a review that was, a month ago, even 2 months, if you know who the client is, and sometimes it can be hard to tell by looking at, their social media screen name. But if you know who it is, I would give them a call and try to resolve it. You could always say, I'm sorry, someone else was managing your social media. You weren't aware, and that's your fault. But I see this now, and I want to take action now. I want to see what I could do to make it better. So that's just very important. You may have lost a customer that you weren't aware of because of a negative experience that wasn't addressed. Unfortunately, people are kind of afraid these days to call a business maybe and tell them that they were dissatisfied with service. But, people have that online courage to go online and, say negative things because, they're not saying it to the person's face. So that's, to me, it's a little bit different than how things used to work before the internet. You would call a business or you wouldn't use them again. Being able to put something negative out there that's going to stay online and last, forever, is scary. So having great customer service obviously is the key. But, and this is something I don't think I even mentioned. I've had clients who didn't find out about it, a problem they had with their business, until they received a negative online review. So while it's horrible, it makes you feel bad, sometimes it can be a learning experience and a way to make a change within your company. So it's not always great, but it could be a way to improve in the future. So, maybe use it as a learning experience and try to move on and make it right and, change your internal practices.
Those of us who have been around a long time can remember a time when the internet was a one-way experience. You put your website up, that was your whole presence on the internet. And it's basically a brochure. It was an online brochure that people went to and they read about your business, and then there was a contact button. But in recent years, the internet has become a conversation, a huge conversation. And that conversation is happening. It's not just your website. It's Facebook, it's Google, it's YouTube, it's all the social media. And you can even create in your website a way for people to respond and to really have a conversation with you. But it's like your customer service process now begins as soon as people go to your website, as soon as people go to the internet, and that conversation begins. And you have an opportunity to connect with people in a positive way, to connect in a negative way, or not to connect at all. So it's something that we just need to be aware of. Imagine if you were at a networking event, you were with other businesses, and you just sat down in a chair at a table and did not meet anyone. You didn't stand up, you didn't greet anyone, you didn't have any conversations. Well, that's what a lot of people's businesses' presence on the internet is like. It's like there you are in a corner, people are moving all around you, but you're not in that conversation. And the river of business will flow by you if that's the case. Okay, so any questions? Any other questions? Comments?
I have one. I have a question, and I have a bunch of comments and maybe some questions. But the one comment I'll make up front first is Yelp has the most frustrating and system I have ever seen in terms of dealing with reviews. They are,
Yes.
oh my gosh. But here's a question for you.
Totally agree.
And people can take pot shots on Yelp, and they can put anything they want, and you have no control over what goes up there. Yeah.
Well, just managing your own stuff is very difficult once you get it up there.
Yeah, it's just I'm not a fan of Yelp. So Debbie, here's one for you that might be interesting for people to. I would like to get your take on it, but I was working with a company that had about 6 Google reviews. It was a company that does remodeling. They do replacement windows, and they do doors, and they do this kind of exterior paint kind of a thing that they have. But they had about 6 Google reviews, and they had about 42, I believe, industry-specific reviews on an industry-specific site. And I don't remember the name of the site, but it was Home something, right?
Home Advisor, maybe?
I think it might have been Home Advisor, right? And my point with them is that's great that you've got those reviews on Home Advisor, but the typical consumer is not going to know to go look at Home Advisor. They're going to look at Google first anyway. Can you respond to that and just tell me your take on that?
I've actually worked with companies like that do everything you said. I worked with a home improvement company. They did the text code, they did windows, they did all that stuff. And they did like having reviews on House, Home Advisor.
Home Advisor.
Yeah, there's another one called House, which we would ask for reviews for a secondary kind of campaign we did. But that was exactly something that we discussed. They had more reviews on Home Advisor, and they didn't have a great Google presence. So one of the things that we did for them is when we did a campaign, we have the ability to highlight 3 different review sites to have them leave reviews on. And typically I do Google, Facebook, and Yelp, unless there's a specific reason why the company, maybe they have tons of Google and they want to promote their home advisor. So typically, and that's what we did for them. We put Google in the first position. Most people have Google, a Google account. And that's what we did to try to increase their Google reviews. We didn't ask people to leave reviews on Home Advisor in the campaign we did. So we specifically targeted those sites.
Okay, good. The second question for you is, how do you handle bogus reviews? And I'll give you the specific example is that with my martial arts business back in Denver, I had a guy go and do a review, basically slamming it was really slamming the organization, not specifically my school, but he put it on my school's, in my school's reviews. And I read the review and then shared it with all of my instructors, and nobody knew who this person was. This is somebody that had actually never set foot in my school. I was not able to get that review off. So basically what I did was I buried it. I went to my face and said, hey, look, here's a review that somebody wrote that's never been in our building. We don't know who this person is. None of the instructors who actually had been at that school prior to me buying that school, nobody knew who this person was. So we buried it in more positive reviews. But what's your take on, is there another way to handle that, or what do you think with that?
Well, I like what you did. I mean, burying the review is great. If someone's scrolling down, they'll still see it. You can't get rid of it.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, of course, you could try flagging the review if it's Google and trying to say this wasn't a customer. That's probably not going to get it removed, but it's what I've done is I've had some people who have similar situations, and sometimes you could write back, and again, being very diplomatic because you don't want to sound like you're not taking them seriously, but to say, I'm extremely sorry to read your review, and maybe sorry isn't the correct word, but I've read your review and I really want to make this right. Our system does not show anybody by your name. Maybe this is a screening. Please contact our office at speak to so-and-so so that we could go over, we could find out, identify who you are and speak about your specific situation.
That's good.
A little question maybe in other people's minds. I mean, people are aware that people do write negative reviews. So by writing that, at least you're commenting, you're kind of raising a question. Other people may say, is this a competitor? Is it legitimate? But then again, at least even if it is legitimate, you are saying we want to make it right. So please contact us. We don't know who you are. We're not aware of the situation. Please call us. So at least you're taking a proactive measure. And again, I don't know of any business. I mean, there are all businesses with 5-star reviews, but not one business is perfect. People make mistakes. So, you're being human, they may think. So it's not that big of a deal if you get, something negative here and there. It's how you respond that really, I think, makes it a little bit better.
You're the ambassador for your business brand. And if you think of the ambassador of a country, you got to have high negotiating skills and interpersonal relationship skills and conflict resolution skills. And I find it kind of exciting to be able to grow that through just being aware of reviews, aware of what people are saying, responding, and getting into that conversation. It's like the best learning experience ever.
I have some clients who just cannot remove their personal feelings enough to respond to negative reviews. So, that's something that we'll do for you. It's easier for us to be a little more, basic and just say, please contact us, where, a lot of business owners just want to write back and just be defensive. So, that's something we can help with as well.
Definitely. I just wanted to put your contact information up here, Debbie. And I'm not trying to cut off the questions at this point. Does anyone have another question that you'd like to ask Debbie?
I've got one more, and that
Okay.
is whether or not there is, software that your company offers or something that people can use that maybe gives or offers a loyalty-based kind of a program, meaning that, that you somehow reward people or something for going out and doing a review right away or whatever.
Mm.
Not saying don't do a 5-star review and you get a reward, but just, for leaving a review.
Is that a trick question?
No.
Ah!
No.
Most social media sites, especially Yelp and Google, their terms of service prohibit you from incentivizing people for giving reviews. So no incentive. Something that we do though, which is kind of neat, is for some of our clients who have multiple employees, we'll sometimes do competitions for them. So meaning if they're being proactive and we run the campaigns for them. So I need them to give me lists of people who they've seen. So we run these campaigns, and sometimes for some of these companies, we have a management company, for example. The person who gets the most mentions in a review, I'll send them a $25 gift card. So we're not incentivizing reviewers, but we're incentivizing the company for being proactive and asking for reviews.
Oh, that's nice.
And providing good customer service, and makes them more cognizant that there's a little internal competition going on. We want to provide great customer service. We want to get these reviews, and sometimes at the end of the month they may get a $25 gift card if they're the ones being mentioned in these reviews. So you never want to put a sign up and say, we'll give you a free glass of wine if you leave us a Yelp review in a business. That's against Yelp's terms of service, and that'll get you in trouble. So.
Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, I was just finishing. I'm just saying you don't want to incentivize your clients.
Okay. Well, I want to ask a quick question, and definitely we all have more questions to ask Debbie, and that's why it's good to have her phone number and email here. And I'm sure that you respond to both of those, and would be happy to receive questions from anyone who's viewing this webinar. But one question that I had throughout your presentation was when you talked about sharing reviews, if you put a review on your website, should it be an image of the review? If you copy it and put it on your website as a testimonial, if you do it word for word and it's text, does that get into like a Google duplicate content thing where Google sees it on the review site and then they also see it on your website? Or is there a copyright issue there? What are the best practices for taking a review and sharing it on your website or on other social media?
Well, if someone left you a Google review, you can make an image of it and say, take a look at what Jan Smith had to say about our company, and then copy the review. You're not necessarily, you're duplicating content, but I believe that's fine to do.
Okay, because that's very important. You get those reviews and you begin to share them, and you can definitely spread them and create a real buzz on the internet. So wonderful, Debbie. Okay, I want to share what's coming up in our marketing department series, Get Your Marketing in Motion. And if you go to marketingdepartmentlv.com and you click on webinars, what you're going to see is you're going to see the schedule for our webinars. And let's take Gordon's webinar from last week. So let's say that I wasn't at that webinar and I wanted to see the replay. I'd click on that, and here I am. I can click on his video, and I can see the the value statements, why attend this webinar. You can see all the slides, and I can see the notes. So that's one, that's a way that you can get this entire series if you like hearing what Debbie had to share today. We've got a number of really valuable webinars that have already occurred. And we've got one coming up on November 5th, which is our next webinar. Richard DePasso of Aardvark Video, and he's the videographer for marketing department, will be presenting. One of the top videographers in Las Vegas. They have actually created a Super Bowl commercial, and he's operating in New York. Now he's in Las Vegas, but he has a worldwide reach, and so video is so important. You're going to want to be at the webinar on November 5th on creating or updating a video marketing strategy for your business. And then we've got others coming up. 5 ways to fully integrate your website into your marketing process with Tori Jones. Creating a positive, engaging team culture with Shamara Walker. So there are some amazing webinars coming up. And again, what we encourage people to do is to look at these webinars, go back over the notes, and then identify a few low-hanging fruit action items that you can put into practice immediately in your business. If you just do one thing each week, that's one more thing than you may have done otherwise for your marketing. And that way you are in motion. Your marketing is in motion, and you can begin to steer it and make adjustments, and you'll be amazed how that sum of one little action each week will, 52 actions a year can make a huge difference in your marketing. So Debbie, I want to thank you for that 5-step online review system for business growth. And you've definitely given us a number of actions that we can take. And definitely everyone should get on the internet and just see what kind of reviews are out there. What is your reputation? And then you'll begin to create a strategy and affect those reviews in a positive way to the benefit of the growth of your business. Hi, Liam.
With negative comments, it's impossible to erase them or to lose them. When you say bury them, what exactly do you mean?
I'll answer that. By bury them, we just mean try to get more online reviews so that they're not sitting up at the top. And you change, the weight of those reviews. If you have 4 online reviews and 2 are negative and 2 are positive, they hold a greater weight. You could gain more online reviews. Those couple reviews that you have that are negative, they won't hold the same weight, is what we're saying by bury them. Get more online reviews. It pushes them down. They will be in the search, your newest reviews. So when people are searching, it won't be the first thing they see. And then they've already read, hopefully, a bunch of good reviews. So then when they see a negative one, they'll say, all right, well, this is older. Maybe the business changed their practice. So it's always important to try to get more, especially if you have a few negative things. You want to also showcase the positive things you're doing.
Thank you. I have someone who does my marketing, but I watch your program so that I can learn to speak the same language they do.
That's good.
It's not always easy, is it? But
make it simple.
well, thank you very much for making it simple, and I don't feel my time's been wasted at all. Thank you.
Marvelous.
You can always call
Good.
if you have any other questions, any kind of follow-up. We're around.
Thank you.
And Debbie's contact information will be on the webinar replay page which you'll be able to find by just clicking on the link here in the schedule. And I'd say in about, no more than 48 hours, we'll have this page complete.
Thank you.
Okay, thanks for being here, Lee.